Alright, you know what time it is. Yeah, that's right. It's time for Sticks Part 6. The Lord of the Sticks in cursive because I felt like it. So, first off, we got fish sticks. They're fish in the shape of sticks. You can eat them because they're fish. That's about it. They're sticks, so they had to be on the list. Alright, so next up we got a pogo stick. These are really cool. You can bounce up and down with them. You can jump really high. However, it seems like a weapon or tool that Wile E. Coyote would use. Like, I mean, look at it. It's a spring on a stick. That is the most basic Wile E. Coyote type stuff right there. Next up, you got Chapstick. It's kind of lame. And there is a much better alternative out there. Yeah, that's right. We're talking about Dorito Chapstick. It is better in every conceivable way. It tastes incredible. Next up, you got the dipstick. So, I've never used a dipstick because I've never driven a car. A dipstick is to check your oil. You dip it into your oil, and then it shows you how much oil you have. I have said oil way more many times than should have said oil. Oil no longer sounds like a word. Next, we got a lollipop stick. It's a stick that holds up a lollipop. Except I'm not sure if the lollipop is just the candy itself, or if it only becomes a lollipop once the candy has been placed onto the stick. Otherwise, it's probably just like a generic candy. But once you put it on a stick, it's a lollipop. You get the point. Next up, you got the taser stick. This is really helpful if you want to be like a guard at a fictional prison or like Jurassic Park or something. Next up, you got Stick Fury. Stick Fury from Sticks Part 3, The Good, the Bad, and the Sticks. You saw Stick Fury in the after credit scene of Sticks Part 3, The Good, the Bad, and the Sticks, didn't you? Everyone saw Stick Fury in Stick Part 3, The Good, the Bad, and the Sticks, right? Next up, you got sticky notes. It's a note that you can stick to things. So, like, for example, as shown in this image, you can write "kick me" onto one of these things, and then put it on someone's back. And if you see someone with a "kick me" sign on their back, you are legally required to kick them. Otherwise, if you do not kick them, it is punishable by death. So you should probably get to kicking. Alright, so now we got the tier list. You know the drill. We're putting everything in the tier list. All the way at the bottom is the fish sticks. I have never eaten a fish stick, and I plan not to eat a fish stick in the future. Next up, you got a pogo stick. It's cool, but it's not really effective. It's what it's trying to do. Again, it's something that Wile E. Coyote would use. Next up, you got chapstick. It's just not that great, and there's the better alternative of Dorito Chapstick all the way at the top of the list. This stuff is the best. Next up, we got the dipstick. Again, I've never used a dipstick. Ed might have, but I've never driven a car, so I've never needed to use a dipstick. And, yeah, I haven't used one of them. Next up, we got a lollipop stick. I like lollipops, and via transitive property, I like lollipop sticks. Next up, we got the taser stick. It's kind of squeezed into B tier because it was going in B tier, but it doesn't really fit because of how many sticks. Part of the reason I'm ending the series because there's no more space here. So you got that. Then you got Stick Fury, Stick Fury from Sticks Part 3, yeah, you get the point. So lastly, you got the sticky note all the way at the top, super useful to kick people with. It is perfect. So yeah, that is the end of the stick sixology, whatever you call it. It's the Stick Walker saga if you're watching this on the playlist of all the stick videos. So yeah, that's it until like 30 years later when Disney buys out everything and then they make a horrible sequel that didn't need to be made.